Welcome back to GM Vision. We've been killing it this year through all of our picks throughout the regular season. And today we're going to be looking at our picks for the divisional round of games. We're down to 8 teams and 4 games. We're going to be going through each one in detail and even talking about some of the prop bets we like for each game. So if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe. It goes a long way in helping the channel. Also, make sure you're down in the comment section dropping your picks for the week. And with that being said, let's get straight into the first game. Here we have the first game on the Saturday slate. The Bills on the road in Mile High against the Broncos. This is going to be a really good game between two good teams, but both these teams do have deficiencies. For the Bills, it's their run defense, and that was a strength for the Broncos for a lot of the year, but when J.K. Dobbins went down, it put a lot on the shoulders of their rookie running back, R.J. Harvey. He has done a decent job, but there's still some left to be desired as far as their run game goes. So I do think they will run the ball pretty effectively against this Bills defense, but it's going to be really tough to throw the ball. The Bills showed last week against the Jaguars why they are one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. I think that was probably one of their best games of the year, so they played well when it meant the most. And this Broncos pass offense isn't the best. Bo Nix, they have Cortland Sutton, and they've got some good younger pieces, but they're definitely not one of the top pass offenses in the league. They've been known to struggle throughout the season, especially early on in games, and that is definitely not the recipe for success against this Bills team. If they know you're throwing the football, it's going to be a really long day for Bo Nix. If that's the case, I could see him throwing multiple interceptions. So they're really going to want to focus on running the football and controlling the time of possession in this game. And the Bills are looking to do the same thing. They're going up against a really good Denver Broncos defense, probably top 3 in the league this year. And for them, they're going to want to run the football with James Cook. He had the most yards this year, and he's looking to continue that against the Broncos after coming off a tough week against the Jaguars, where he had one of his lowest totals of the year. And I think he does bounce back. I think he has a pretty good game against this Broncos defense. They're pretty well rounded. They can get after the quarterback. And I think that will cause issues for the Bills in this game. The Broncos have one of the best D lines in football. They have a ton of sacks on the year. If they're able to get after Josh Allen early, I think this game could look a lot like Atlanta's game against the Bills. Even though Atlanta wasn't the better team, they were able to win that game because of their pass rush, because they covered well downfield and got after Josh Allen. I think the Broncos will do that well in this game. And this one will end up coming down to the wire, likely to whoever has the ball last in their hands. And when it comes to who's going to win in the fourth quarter, you want to say the Broncos because they've been doing it all year, but you got to give the edge to Josh Allen and the Bills. They've been in this position, and I think the Bills will take advantage of that opportunity. They want Josh Allen to make his first Super Bowl. I think he makes that extra play. I think the Bills just wanted a little bit more, and they end up getting the win on the road in Mile High. Because I think the scoring will be down, especially early in this game, and there's two good defenses that match up well with each other, we're going to pass betting wise. Here we have the first game on Sunday, the Texans on the road in Foxborough against Drake May and the Patriots. I think this game could be the worst, but most competitive game of the weekend. The Texans have a great defense, probably the best defense in the NFL, and they're going up against an offense with Drake May, who's probably been the hottest quarterback this year. He's in the MVP conversation. But does that offense have enough to beat this Houston Texans defense? And then looking at Stroud and the Texans, I really don't believe in their offense. The offensive line just hasn't been good enough this year. And really, their defense has been carrying them to these wins, giving them short fields, turning the ball over a lot, giving them a lot of chances. They do have some playmakers. I like CJ Stroud's playmaking ability, but they're going to be without their dynamic weapon and Nico Collins. He's going to be out with a concussion. That's a huge blow to this offense. He's the guy that the defenses have to pay attention to. He's what creates openings and opportunities for other players on that offense. And the key for Houston is to run the football. If they're not able to do that, it's going to be a long day for Stroud. He turned the ball over a lot last week. If he does it again, I don't think they're going to be able to win this game. You're really hoping that other people can step up for Stroud, but we just haven't seen it yet. They've got some young rookies. If they step up, that's really their only chance in this game. And for the Patriots offense, we saw what happened when they went up against a good defense last week in the Chargers. They didn't have much success. They struggled for a lot of the game. And I think you're going to see a lot of the same in this game against this Texans defense. If they're able to turn Drake May over a lot in this game, I think they can end up winning it on the road. They don't really have that big playmaker, that big dynamic weapon on offense. It's really a collection of guys: Stephon Diggs, Travion Henderson, Hunter Henry, Pop Douglas. They got a good collection of weapons, and they're really going to have to spread this Houston Texans defense out. The Texans defense flies to the football, and you really just got to hope that they miss tackles because it seems like they're on you every single play. They've got some great playmakers in Derek Stingley, Jalen Petre, Daniil Hunter, and Will Anderson are probably the best edge duo in the league. Those are going to be the weapons that the Texans need to win this football game. Ironically, they're probably going to be what's going to help them score points more than anybody on offense. Without Nico Collins, I'm really worrying about this Texans offense. I don't think they're going to be able to get much going. It's really a concern for me with that offensive line. If they're able to get after CJ Stroud, they can play the game that the Texans do and force some turnovers on defense that give them short fields, that give them the extra possession. So I think it really comes down to the quarterback matchup. I believe in Drake May more than I do CJ Stroud. It's a really close pick for me. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to take the Patriots to get the win at home. I really wanted to take the Texans, and if Nico Collins was playing, I probably would. But since he's not playing, we're going to stick with the Patriots at home. For props, I honestly like a defensive touchdown in this game. Now we have the final game for the divisional slate, the Rams on the road in Chicago, which should be a freezing one. It looks like it'll be around 0 degrees for that game, but the over-under is pretty high, so there should be some scoring, or at least that's what people think. And I do think that'll be the case for this game. Both of these offenses are pretty high-powered, but you got to give the edge on defense to the Rams. The Bears are pretty opportunistic. They make the most out of their opportunities, turning the ball over, but they're going up against a really good quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over very often. And if the Bears want to win this game, they're going to have to find a way to make that happen. For the Rams and for the Bears, they're going to want to run the ball in this weather. It looks like it's going to be really windy, so that's going to affect both quarterbacks. The best thing that you can do is control the time of possession and run the football game and take advantage of the other team when they're down and they have to throw the ball in that wind. I like both run games for these teams, but you got to give the edge to the Bears. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monunga have been absolutely tearing it up, and I think they'll have success running the football against this Rams team, especially at home. And they need to be effective if they want to help out their quarterback. This Rams D-line is really good. They've got a bunch of big bodies on that line, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner. They get after the quarterback, and they stop the run pretty well. If they want to take some pressure off of Caleb Williams, especially when he's going to have to be dealing with the cold and the wind, running the football is how you got to do it. And then I think it comes down to this Rams offense just being able to execute with their best players, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Can they get those guys going in these conditions? Can they find some creative ways to get Puka Nacua the ball? I think they'll be able to do that. I think this game will be really close. I think it'll be a back and forth game. Although I do really like the Rams in this matchup, I think the wind and the weather factors could be a huge disadvantage for them, especially because I think their superpower is throwing the football. So this one could end up being a close one, but I think the Rams get it done on the road. They have the experience. They've got the better players. I think they just make that one extra play to win them this football game. So we are going to take them to get the win on the road in advance to the NFC Championship game. For props, I like Puka Nacua receptions. I think they're going to try to get him the ball any way they can. Now we have the second game of the divisional slate on Saturday night. The Niners on the road in Seattle in probably one of the best environments in all of football. I think this game comes down to the stars of each team. Christian McCaffrey, he's been dynamic all year long, out of the backfield, catching passes. He's really been doing it all for this offense. He's been single-handedly keeping them in games, and it's clear that the recipe for them to win is to score a lot of points. Their defense is ravaged with injuries. Robert Saleh is doing all he can to keep them playing at the highest level. He's been doing a pretty good job of it, but he's really going to have to overachieve in this game if he wants to slow down the Seahawks offense. They have Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year this year. Him and Puka Nacua have probably been the best receivers in football this year. And coming off a bye, I think this Seahawks offense is going to be ready. Obviously, they just played each other in the last game of the regular season. It was a pretty sloppy game, and it was low scoring, and it felt like neither team could get the ball going on offense. But I think this game is a little bit different. They know what to expect now, and I really think it's going to come down to turnovers. And that's when you look at the Seattle Seahawks defense. They've got a great overall defense. They have a great defensive line. I think they're going to make it really tough, just like they did in their last matchup, for Christian McCaffrey to get anything going on the ground. If you force Brock Purdy to drop back pass all game long, he's known to throw a lot of interceptions. He does throw them in bunches. I think that rears its head in this game. It's been a great run for the Niners, but I think the injuries kind of catch up to them in this game. So it's going to be on their offense to keep up with Seattle Seahawks defense. I think the Seahawks are going to run the ball well, and they're going to stay pretty balanced throughout the entire game. So it's going to come down to who can take care of the football and who can play better, Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold. I believe more in Brock Purdy in a playoff game to get it done over Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's had a great last 2 years, but when you get in these big spots, it's always been a question with him if he can step up and be that quarterback that he's been for a lot of the regular season. Now in some of these big games this year, he has stepped up. But in other games, this defense and the players around him have really carried him to some of these wins. So if the Niners can slow them down like they did in their last matchup, I think they could hang around. It's playoff football. You never know what could happen. I like props for JSN. I like props for Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to get a lot of catches out of the backfield. But I'm going to stick with the Seahawks to get the win at home in this game. I just think they have too much. They're going to be too well rested, too well prepared for this game. The Niners are going to put up a good fight, but it's not going to be enough on the road. So if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe. It goes a long way in helping the channel. Get down in the comment section and drop your picks for the week. That's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you next week for the AFC and the NFC Championship games.